Hello and welcome to the Mobile Satellite Users Association Game Changers webcast, where we speak with satellite and mobile connectivity thought leaders about industry trends and share what you need to know about the future of mobile satellite communications. I'm your host, Roger Lanto, and I'm excited to introduce Nabil Ben Soussia, Group Chief Commercial Officer of IEC-Telecom. Nabil has over 2 decades of experience in satellite communications, with particular emphasis on humanitarian missions, particularly in remote and crisis-stricken areas. I want to talk a little bit before we get into our interview here about IEC-Telecom and my experience with IEC-Telecom. When I first interacted with the Mobile Satellite Users Association, it was on a call which included IEC-Telecom's Vice Chairman, Erwin Emelian. He had to step away from the group call for 5 or 10 minutes, and when he returned, he reported that an aid caravan operating in Africa had been waylaid by militants and had triggered a request for assistance. That made a big impression on me. So it brings us to our conversation today, the headline of which is the role of connectivity in humanitarian operations. So, Nabil, what is the role of connectivity in humanitarian operations?
Hello, Roger, and hello, everyone. I'm happy that you were impressed by that, and if you want to be more impressed, welcome to visit us. That's our daily life.
Actually, let me ask you to talk about your past. What brought you to this activity, and what your life experience has been like coming to this application.
We serve our customers through satellites, and naturally we have different market segments that are operating outside of the GSM coverage, and mainly those are oil and gas, humanitarian, any thing maritime, aero. So everyone who might or who has operations outside of the cities. So this is how we started, and this is the target, let's say, audience and customers we have, and the people we are dealing with on daily basis. Of course, we positioned ourselves as a partner with the humanitarian different entities, whether it was United Nations or NGOs. And we build this relationship, and we start to work on their project. So it's not only selling them the products we have, but more into listening to them and knowing more about what they have to do on a daily basis, and try to make our knowledge of technology and our different technology that we master to serve them in a better way. So it is really a kind of cooperation, and we work on a daily basis with our customers.
How has that connectivity role changed over time?
Well, connectivity changed everything around the world, and mainly it made the operations safer, more efficient, and many things are done faster, and also in better conditions. When you fly to a disaster to help people, you better also control your communication. That will help you to achieve your main mission, I would say. In many cases, we have seen also that those people in need, also they are in need of communication to connect to their families, and to say that they are safe, etc. So there is this part, and the rescuer also is there, and he is in an area, I would say, not the safest area on earth. So it's also keeping that relationship with the family, to see that we are all fathers and husbands, and then we have also to share the moments with our families and with the people that we have to save, deal with, enhance a bit their lives, etc.
Well, so actually, it's a fairly complex value proposition, because quite often I think we're talking about you're focusing on the personal communications for people to communicate with family members or situations like this, but also I think access to financial resources, both for the responders as well as for individuals. You need to be connected to have access to your money and financial resources, but also access to health resources, military resources, other kinds of government agencies. It's quite a complex proposition, isn't it? Is it not?
It's a very complex proposition, and it is very important to highlight also how wide is the field of operations and the different missions. So when we speak about humanitarian and aid, the first thing that comes in the mind of everyone is rescue. But it's not only, and usually the rescue is 3-4 days, 1 week. But there are missions where, for example, the UNHCR, they are in charge of 100 million plus people. They are managing 10 countries the size of UAE, and to take care of the food, of the logistics, of the health, of the of schools. And when we speak about, for example, we see what UNICEF is doing with the projects to connect schools. So it's more not only about rescuing, because rescuing is really very limited in time, but you have programs with the United Nations Development Program. It's long-term projects and programs, and we take, for example, the missions of any mission you have in mind. Technology can just add an efficiency layer on it. So if we take, for example, the UNICEF and the school programs, so they call the ecological program, that's connecting schools, reducing the digital divide, make sure that those people who are today living in conditions that are not by their choice, and at least to have a chance to integrate the life that other kids have. And same thing for the UNHCR. When you are living in a camp, it should not be a prison. It should be a place to prepare you to integrate back the normal life when your country is back to normal life. So, and if you miss 5-6 years of school there, you should be able to come. So that they have to take care of the school, they have to take care of the hospitals, and to provide healthcare in remote places. It's very important to have the possibility to connect with the kind of well-reputed hospital and qualified doctors, and have the opinions of many people. So even if you say, for example, distribution of food today is no more vouchers or coupons, and you can give it and exchange it against some rice and some. No, it's no more that. Today it's a big program where customers, or let's say, World Food Program appoint certified shops, certified markets, even mobile markets that are going around, and they give a digital allowance to their refugees or to their beneficiaries, I would say. And those, they have to come, and just by their fingerprint, they purchase and they pay. They just sign by digital fingerprint, and then the money will be forwarded from World Food Program to the shop. And all this has to happen in places where there is no coverage. So this is where adding technology to that, it's fantastic. Adding communication will also help those organizations to first have a wider portfolio of services. So it's not only coming and offering the basic services. So with technology, they have more services and geographical reach. So you can reach people who are not able to come to the main camp or to the main city or to our main office. Then you can equip car, and you can become more mobile and reach those people on need to their places. So this is where technology helps.
So, so clearly, commerce, education, healthcare can be added into that portfolio of services. And what specifically is the role of satellite? Is it backhaul, or what is the role that satellite plays?
Well, satellite enables all those services where we need them. Let's say it is not in the mandate on any GSM operator to go and cover the places that, when a problem happens in a country, it's just cross the border, they choose a place to operate a camp. So usually it is not a place that is covered by GSM. It is not in the interest of anyone to cover that. So it's always a place where satellite is needed, because satellite offers an instant, decent communication. So it is just about, that's the fastest solution that can be installed and operating in any place around the world.
The reason why I asked that, because I'm assuming there's also a terrestrial aspect as well, in addition to the satellite piece.
I can give you some rough data, for example, about those agencies. Of course, they are different. Many are, like, for example, if you take UNDP, this is more about development program, and then they have the time to introduce different level of communication and different wider portfolio. But if we take people like operating in emergencies, I think their terrestrial spend is not more than 20% than their global communication.
So how can operators optimize these solutions to minimize costs?
Well, we have seen that, and I worked in my entire life again in different crises, and you have two different ways of managing a crisis or reduce cost or whatever. But people are more creative when a crisis happens, especially financial one. And it's either you take all your spend or your expenses and in an Excel table and you apply 20% on it, or you invest an additional 20-30% in communication, and then you save 20-30% on overall bill. There are things that you can do more efficient in a smarter way. What we offer, obviously, is connection, communication that will help you to do the same task without being there. So we save time, and time is money. So many things are, and the more we see it, we started with just phones, and then we just moved to small mobile terminals like the BGAN, and then through IP, the MSS terminals, and then after that VSAT, and then it's the LEO, and the more you give bandwidth, the more they find smart way to use it and to how to save money. So this is the main thing is when we discuss with our customers and our partners, it's more about how we can enhance this duty, how we can make it faster, cheaper, more efficient.
And how has the availability of LEO access altered this value proposition?
Well, LEO is it's a big change that happens in lately, and I was always saying that the pace of change in the last 2 years in the satellite business is more than the one we have seen in the last 20 years, and that's thanks to LEO, to the possibility of moving from one generation to another. We see today SpaceX is sending satellites quicker than the GSM operator in installing base stations. So that's the level of agility. When it was a few years back, a plan for 15 years to send a satellite, and it's for 15 years you cannot do anything, and you wait for the next generation that will happen after 15 years. So it's more agile today, I would say, for the LEO. In terms of customers, no one cares about LEO or GEO. The customer looks more toward his need, and his need used to be all the time either fixed or mobile. And for fixed, it used to be GEO VSAT, but they don't care. They need just to have a big antenna that will assure them to have the best price and the highest bandwidth. Or mobility. Today, LEO or Starlink and OneWeb are just doing something in between. They are small, can be mobile, but offering a bandwidth that is much higher than the previous one and at much cheaper price. So it becomes more accessible. This is from the side of the customer. The other big change is the reduced latency. When we used to operate over geo, we had to adapt every solution we provide. The customer has to adapt every application he uses behind the satellite terminal to the level of delay that is the geo level of, let's say, 1 second. So it was not seamless. You cannot take your phone or your laptop, be in the office, and just fly to a refugee camp behind a VSAT and expect the same thing. No. With LEO, we are at the same level of latency, and everything that you can use in the office, you can use in the camp. That's the big difference, I would say, today. And if you look at it from the user point of view, no one cares about where the satellite is. What we care about is how good is the connection and what are the kind of applications. Because all the secure application, all the applications with authentication, if you take them from the office to the camp, they will be just end up. So that's the big change. Well, LEO is offering a lot of things, better prices, better mobility, cheaper, and the most important, very convenient for everyone.
But GEO obviously still has a role to play.
As I said, today, it is no one cares about where the satellite is. What they care is about stability. GEO is there, the capacity is there. Today, before you launch a new GEO satellite, well, clearly you should have a very solid business plan before you do that. There is a role, yes. There is a role for the existing capacity, definitely. Should those players today just jump in next generation of GEO? I don't think so. It is very good and it remains the best in terms of broadcast, but definitely not the best in terms of communication when we speak about delays. That's the point. And we see SES, we see Eutelsat, everyone is trying to not to miss the trend or the change of technology. So it is really something that, again, as a customer, what you care about is what are the applications that are working or not, and how much you pay per megabyte, per volume, not per. Or of course, if you want to have unlimited, that's another story. But still, it's an IP level. We want to have a connection. That's what they care about. GEO, LEO, okay, they may start to discuss politics, but that's another story. But in terms of technology, I think it's seamless.
So, with all of the discussion of cutting back on foreign assistance from the U.S., are any of these operations in jeopardy? How are they funded, or how will they be funded and maintained if the U.S. follows through and takes this, step back from foreign aid?
Well, that's a big subject.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a big subject because being, let's say, close to this field, let's say, everyone in the humanitarian, in the UN, the NGOs, they're NGOs, they're non-governmental, and they want to be far from the politics. And everything that comes close to politics is something they prefer not to have and not to discuss, because they have to operate in different countries and they have to be negotiators in many places, and their role is just on the top of all the countries and all the politics. So by default, they don't like it. Now they have no choice. We cannot say anything about any country, not only the US, if they want to revisit and audit the efficiency of any money given by the taxpayers. That's their legal and natural, let's say, job to audit. It's a bit harsh. The effect is of being unpredictable. I think that's the what is worrying today. No one knows what will happen after 90 days. And also, it is very important to understand from the other side how important this aid is for the rest of the world. So it is just saving lives, helping people, and you cannot also expect that you will let those people die and then you will be safer in your country. So there is a lot of
Well,
things.
I guess what
It is complex.
I guess what you're saying is it's difficult to calculate the ROI.
Yes, what is very important and what we notice today is that it is a crisis in the humanitarian field. Whether US aid comes or not back, there is a big change anyway that happened. And everyone has today to have a contingency plan and to see and to gather also more donation from other countries and to just to reassess and be creative and how to be also more efficient. It is what it is. We cannot change it. We have to deal with it. I'm flying since January all around, trying just to understand what is the situation and how we can help and what is the new reality. Whether after 90 days things will come back to normal or not. What's a big hit? I think USAID is by far the biggest contributor to all the humanitarian missions around the world.
So if we were trying to characterize that ROI, how can you sort of describe the the dividends, if you will? How can you quantify the impact that these programs have, and more specifically that the technology has, the connectivity?
Well, apart again from helping people in emergencies, and we have seen that even in the US, and you had the fires in California, and natural disasters happen everywhere, so apart from that, about of this solidarity, the human solidarity around the world, etc., you have people who are just left behind, and you have to help them, and you have to, if you want to make them believe that your life is a good one, and if you want really to keep a good relationship with the rest of the world, with the rest of people, you have to contribute. It's the same, let's say, within a country, the same paying tax is what? It's just to help people to help the rich, to help the less and the less. That's the same thing on a global level, and people are helping other people, and it's humanity. So that's and again. I remember when I was a kid, we were just gathering some whatever clothes and foods and that to be sent to Somalia at that time. I remember like now that was the crisis at the time, and we had what, I was a kid, I had nothing, but it was about sharing is caring, and about this is very important to keep. Otherwise, if we start to be selfish, we'll have more wars and more destruction and more everything.
So how can NGOs future-proof their communication networks?
Well, well, they're very good on doing that. They have people spending also entire lives building future networks. Today, it's clear that it's more and more about being more efficient, about closer relationship with commercial satellites, and be ready for the different scenarios. I think
is it a question of pre-positioning of equipment and material in anticipation of the need?
Not sure. Not sure. It's. I noticed that it was not always a good deal to pre-position. We had in my history we had to send many things to Haiti, and then when the earthquake happened, we had to send it again because it was unusable. So sometimes it's it's much easier to fly with your own, so you are completely independent. No, it's again. I don't think that rescue programs are really endangered or that's rescue. I'm more worried about the development programs, about schools, about all the noble missions that United Nations is trying to carry. Again, I'm saying efficiency is auditable. But the heart of the missions that to feed people, to teach people, to help to develop. Otherwise, the gap will be wider and wider and wider, and there is nothing good out of that. Then you will start to have a big immigration problem. You will start to put security problems, etc., etc. So
So
it's a big complex. Let's say we are in Earth, we are global, and we are all together.
I couldn't agree more. So what are the latest developments at IEC-Telecom?
Well, IEC-Telecom started quite early with LEO. We expected that to disturb. Maybe even expecting that we didn't expect at this level. So it's and we try always to be at the hearing what's happening in the market, trying to bring the latest technologies to our customers. And again, also we take the example of Starlink. Starlink in the beginning was not a solution for businesses or solutions for, let's say, professional governments. The big majority was for residential. And then we started to work with them. We started to work with our customers. We tried to adapt, and we find solution how that can help. We put it in a belly case, on top of a car. Yeah.
Are each of your projects kind of a bespoke proposition, or do you have some sort of standard, productized offerings?
Well, I wish to sit and just close my eyes and imagine the product that everyone will take, but that's not the reality. The reality is it's more about building a proposition based on what the customer requires, and every customer is special, and every environment is special. So we hired a very nice team. We have people that were serving for the United Nations for many years. We have people who were IT managers inside the NGOs, so they know the daily challenges. We are, of course, quite close, and we believe that our partners are sharing with us, but there are maybe things that they cannot share with us. There are future programs that why should they, let's say, share that with a commercial organization if they are not sure that they have the budget for that, if they are not sure. But we are at the level of let's wish together and let's see out of those wishes what we can realize. If not right now, maybe tomorrow, but we work on that. So when we develop, we have in mind what they need. And when we meet them, also, we try to understand what changes. So this is, for example, the USA thing is just made me fly to every customer just to understand how that can affect them and what they will have to do and how we can help.
So clearly the key capability at IEC-Telecom is flexibility.
Yes. Well, again, we are not targeting, for example, only the United Nations. So when we speak about maritime, plus minus, we know the list of requirements that the vessel will need. So we have all that in our smart box, and it's a license that you want to have this, you want to have that, you don't want so. So it can be a kind of portfolio where you choose your services, or it can be a project where we just have to work together.
And where can people learn more about IEC-Telecom?
Well, we are on the internet. You can always contact me, contact anyone from my team. We are spread around the world. We are present in 10 countries and quite close to the market. So you can reach us on our website.
Okay. Thank you, Nabil. I want to thank the Mobile Satellite Users Association for hosting these sessions. You can learn more about the MSUA at msua.org. You can learn how to get our weekly newsletter that gives you updates on everything that's happening in the industry and shares information about upcoming events. And you can also find out how to become a member. We will be giving out the 2025 Mobile Satellite Innovation Awards March 11th at a luncheon at the Satellite 2025 event in Washington, D.C. And we look forward to seeing you next time on MSUA's Game Changers webcast. Nabil, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.